Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and I like to review cowboy boots and other Western things. And today I am reviewing the Cody James Zero Gravity Extreme. Now, I've reviewed about 2 different Cody James boots on this channel. The very first pair was kind of in response to like different folks chiming in the comments saying, hey, review some Cody James, review some Cody James. I've done mostly Ariat boots. I've done some Justin boots. I've done Tony Lama. I've done Dan Post. I've done all of the popular ones that are in the top stratosphere of Western boot consciousness. But one of the things that everybody kept asking was, hey, can you review some Cody James? Been seeing some Cody James, love Cody James. And I'm knowing that Cody James is the house brand for Boot Barn, and Boot Barn is everywhere. So it's absolutely natural to want to see, okay, I've heard about Ariat, I've heard about Justin, I've heard about these other ones. What about Cody James? I'm seeing Cody James everywhere in my Boot Barn. So the first pair I got just to kind of, what's it all about? I actually purchased them just for review, and I tried them on and I did not like them whatsoever. I like the way they look. Don't get me wrong there. They looked great. I put them on feet, they look great. And you could just see the on-foot portion right here. I was just right out of the box. I was like, dang, these look better on feet than they look in the box. And so I reviewed them and they were very uncomfortable. They were very hard. And so I was like, I am not feeling it. I don't like it. So let's get on to this boot. I found these boots online. I found these boots from a seller that I've purchased from before. At bootbarn.com, you could find these for $189.99, so $190. I went to the Boot Barn. It was my birthday. I got some cash. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run a few reviews for some of the stuff that I already got. So I was in the mode of about to review something. I'm like, maybe I can find a good deal at Boot Barn and you know, add to my collection. I couldn't bring myself to buy anything simply because I find all these great deals online. To purchase something at retail just didn't fit me. It just didn't fit me. I saw this on the eBay site and I'm like, I didn't know that they were 190 brand new. I just said, Cody James, those look pretty good. And I saw them for the price that they were. And they were for $39.39 or something like that. $39.39 or 49 cents. It was a weird change number, but let's just say $40. Free shipping, all that good stuff. So $40 out the door plus tax. I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. And I saw the reason why they discounted. Most of the boots you're gonna find used are gonna go for about $80. That's usually the median price. So when I found these boots for this price, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna put this in my box. And then I saw why they were discounting it. So this is the reason why they're discounting. This right here was open. And I'm gonna try to find some photos of the actual listing. And if you'll notice here, that seam is open, right? And so I Googled it and I said, can you repair a busted seam that's coming down the shaft? And the consensus was no, that's not something that can really be repaired. Now, as you can see here, it's repaired. It's not perfectly repaired, and I'm gonna show you the close-ups and the beauty shots. It's not clean like if we purchased it brand new. But I got in touch with a cobbler. I had him in mind when I was thinking about purchasing these boots, but I did not purchase the boots and I did not take the plunge because I kept reading, this is gonna be extremely difficult to do if you do it. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna bother with it, but I kept it in my watch tab on eBay. I go to the Boot Barn on my birthday, got the money, and I see these boots brand new on the rack. And I'm like, okay, seeing them in person, right? I'm looking at the shape, I'm looking at the color, I'm looking at the upper, the shaft, and I'm like, I like this. I like it a lot. I tried it on. And I was like, it looks good on foot. And so I went back and I looked in my my eBay watch folder, or whatever we call it, my watched items, and boots were still there. I don't think anybody's really trying to touch them because they had that problem. Now I'm like, okay, $190 here in the store, $39 slightly used. I'm gonna take the plunge. I took the plunge. I bought them because I was like, I'm already here. I'm not gonna pay $190 for those. I bought them. They came in. Boy, were they a lot more rough looking than the pictures that they showed online. I was like, dang, these look really beat up. I don't know if I want to keep these. I was thinking about returning. I started to return because they look more beat up, and I was like, man, they look really beat up. But I was going to the cobbler to see if he can take care of these ostrich boots, these Justin ostrich boots that I had just bought. Review on those coming really, really soon. I found a really good deal. Again, I'm finding these great deals. I'm always finding good deals. I will talk about that on that review. So the point I'm trying to make is I was taking my Justin genuine ostrich boots to the cobbler to get the rubber sole protector, or sole savers as some call them, put that on the boot professionally so it looks like it was made with that part of the boot. And so as I'm bringing them in, I'm like, before I return this, I started the return on eBay. Before I returned it, I took it to him and I said, hey, can you fix this? And I wasn't expecting a lot because like I said, I did the research. Everybody's saying this is not something really repairable unless you're like doing the whole upper portion. I gave it to him. He looked at it. He goes, yeah, I could do it. I said, cool. So I left it with him. I left him the other boots, came back a day later. It was all taken care of. And I was happy. Like I said, this is not pretty. It's not a pretty job, but he closed it off. And he was able to shut it off so that now I can wear these. No draft's gonna get in the boots, no water. Obviously your jeans are gonna cover this, which is what I thought about in the first place when purchasing this. I'm like, okay, my jeans will go over it. I didn't want it to be open, but if I can close it, I wanted to close it. He did. And as you can see here, these boots are clean. These boots are really clean. So after he repaired that portion of the boot, I said, cool, I'm gonna take them now, I'm gonna wash them up, clean them up. And when I did, and then I conditioned them, oh man, they came back to life. All of because they were beat up scuffs. Like, in other words, this guy was taking them to work. He's very light on his feet. So I could tell you that much. Like, these heels are not worn very much at all. They're rubber sole. I like that. I really like. There are boots that I want to be my everyday boots. I'm personally wearing my Justin boots right now. I'm currently wearing my Justin boots right now with the rubber soles. Love those things because these are the kind of things that I could wear out every single day. They're not that dressy. And so this is what I wanted to put in my lineup to add to that. This one, my other two pairs of Justins, those are all rubber soles. Everything else has a leather sole. So I like this boot because obviously it was a great value. But check this out, okay? So the last Cody James that I did, the Ace Western, not the authentic Python, but the Ace Western, I wanted to get like an Ariat equivalent. And it was an Ariat equivalent. I need to keep saying Ariat instead of Ariat. It was an Ariat equivalent where it had a rubber sole. It had, the synthetic innards. It was very much like a Chinese Ariat. This one I bought and I was like, well, it's gonna be another one of my, my kickers, my everydays. And instead, when I got them, I just didn't really realize, I didn't pay very close attention, but these guys are leather all the way through, inside and out. Except for, obviously, your rubber and synthetic heel, your rubber sole and your synthetic heel. And then obviously you have an insole, you have their comfort insole. This insert is fantastic. And this is the zero gravity insert. It's for this particular boot. And it's heavy. This is a relatively heavy and thick insole. So like an Ariat, it has a cardboard footbed. I really like this insole because when I put it on, I didn't have any pain at the bottom of my feet. This would have definitely been a hard read sell, so that's why I tried them on. And if they're too uncomfortable, I'd return it. But it's not too uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, I've worn these out a couple times already and they're great. So I just need to do a little bit more breaking in. They're made in Mexico, all leather, inside and out. And they come with a rubber sole. So I was like, man, that is something that I don't have. I have my Justins, like I said, where I'm wearing right now. I've done I've done a review on them. They're leather on the outside, but in the inside, they're mesh and other synthetic materials. So it doesn't have a lot of leather in there at all. It's all on the outside. And that's kind of par for the course when it comes to these Chinese-made boots. So both of my Justins are like that. And like I said, they're my everyday go around. I can work in them. I can walk around in them, no problem. The other ones are a little bit more dressy. So again, these Tony Lamas, I like these. These are a little bit more dressy. We're gonna go out to eat. We're gonna spend a night on town, church, things like that is where I like to use these things. And then now that I'm getting myself from some exotics, I'm stepping out in the exotics more often than I do these, but still, these are nicer than these. These happen to be something now where I can use on a regular basis, and they're nice looking. I like the color, and this is the whiskey color. And as you wear into it, certain parts get lighter, so it's nice. Now, I just conditioned these the last time I wore them, so they're all one color, but they do start to get that wear in, and it starts to get that lighter color. All that to say, I'm really, really pleased at the fact that I was able to get these boots for $40. Oh, I didn't tell you how much he charged me. He charged me $10 to fix that. $10 to fix that. So I was like, wow, that was really cool. That's enough for me. Let's get into the on-foot portion. Okay, here we are with the on-foot portion of the Cody James Men's Zero Gravity Extreme. And this is what they look like on foot. As I've been saying, you know, even with the last pair of the Cody James, the Ace Western. Now, I will say that these feel a little bit more comfortable than the Ace Western, and I'm 100% going to say that's because of the insole. The insole on the Ace Western is like the very cheap, very bottom of the barrel insole, whereas this one, as you know, we saw in the review, it's a nice thick insole, just like an Ariat. Nice, thick, and ready to give comfort. So I don't feel as close to the bottom of the boot as I did in the Ace Western. So this is much better. I like the color on this. The fact that it's all leather, as I already said, and it goes well with the jeans. So, okay, that was a really long review, really long story time. Thank you for sticking it out with me. I will see you guys next time when I talk about probably those ostrich boots. See you next time.